بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. We're back with another class of Haiyah Ibn Abi Dawud. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him and his father. And we took last time about the four rightly guided caliphs, the Khulafa al-Rashideen al-Mahdiyin, that are spoken about in the hadith. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu an, then Umar al-Khattab radiyallahu an by ijma', both of them, 1 and 2. And then the majority said Uthman, and then fourth is Ali. And it's not mentioned here, but technically you can add Al-Hasan, who did 6 months to complete the 30 years in the hadith, even though it was only 6 months. But of course his maqam is known, Al-Hasan ibn Ali. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with both of them and all the Sahaba. So continuing on, inshallah, we are on the next bayt. And this bayt says, وَإِنَّهُمُ الرَّهْطُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِمُ عَلَى نُجُبِ الْفِرْدَوْسِ بِالنُّورِ تَسْرَحُ وَإِنَّهُمُ الرَّهْطُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِمُ عَلَى نُجُبِ الْفِرْدَوْسِ بِالنُّورِ تَسْرَحُ. And let's take this next one too. Let's translate that one, and then we'll go to the next line. And this translates to mean, those are the people, those who have no doubt about upon the great camels of Firdaus, shining brightly and roaming about. And now, of course, talking about the Sahaba. The Sahaba, of course, the general rules about the Sahaba, they are the best of the Muslims. Right? The Sahaba are the best of the Muslims. So the Sahaba are the best of the Muslims, then the Tabi'in, and then the Atba' Tabi'in. Those are the three best generations. Prophet ﷺ said, خير القرون قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. So those are the three rightly or the three best generations in Islam. And of course of the Sahaba, the best four, we mentioned them. And the Sahaba generally are all, the general rule about them is they're udul. You don't have to go see if they're trustworthy or not. And the Sahaba are all in Jannah, radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. So that's about the Sahaba. And now now we need to take the 10 Promised Jannah. We took the first 4. Now we're on the next 6. سعيد وسعد وابن عوف وطلحة وعامر فهر والزبير الممدح. So this translates to say, again, we took the first 4, now we're taking the next 6 of the 10, and this is mutawatir about the 10 rightly guided Sahaba. And we took the first 4, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali. Now we're adding on to that Sa'id ibn Zayd, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Talha ibn Ubaidillah, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Az-Zubair ibn al-Awwam, وعامر فهر, Abu Ubaidah, Amir ibn al-Jarrah. So we know the first 4, they're the best, and the next 6, there's not really an order generally. And so these 2 lines that we took, those are the people, those who we have no doubt about upon the great camels of Firdaus, shining brightly and roaming about. Sa'id ibn Auf, Talha, Amir, Zubair, the praiseworthy. So those are the 10 that are mentioned in the hadith, and this is important to know for our Aqeedah as well. So those are the 10. So out of the 10 is the 4, and then add the next 6 without a particular order. And then the next line says, وَقُلْ خَيْرَ قَوْلٍ فِي الصَّحَابَةِ كُلِّهِمْ وَلَا تَكُ طَعَانًا تَعِيبُ وَتَجْرَحُ. Which means, and speak the best terms about the companions, all of them, That's really important. That we don't and do not be one who speaks ill of them, pointing out their faults and criticizing. وقد نطق الوحي المبين بفضلهم وفي الفتح آي للصحابة تمدح. So this is what we're going to take for today about the Sahaba. So what do we have here? And do not be one who speaks ill of them, pointing out their faults and criticizing, since the clear revelation has spoken about their excellence in Surah Al-Fath, verse about the companions praising them. And there's many verses, but not just Surah Al-Fath. It's ijma', it's Quran, hadith, ijma', and obviously the Shia, they especially the Rafidah, the 12er Shia and the likes of them, they make takfir of the Sahaba, for example, and they're so quick to criticize Muawiyah and Aisha radiallahu anha. So that is against the way of Ahlu Sunnah. Ahlu Sunnah accept all the Sahaba. They say radiallahu anhum. We make dua for rida for them, and the general rule is they're all udul. They are trustworthy and upright. If they narrate a hadith, you don't have to investigate it. And they all will be in Jannah, and they have that honor of being with the Prophet ﷺ, so they are the best of us. And this is contrary to how the Shia and the Orientalists and Kuffar handle the Sahaba. The Sahaba are the ones that transmit the religion, and we're with the Prophet ﷺ. They're the best of us, and that's the way we deal with them, radiyallahu anhum jami'an. So it's not really mentioned here, but with regards to the Sahaba, we mentioned the four, and then the six to complete. So after that, generally it's the people of Badr, then the people of Uhud. Then you add on to that Bay'at al-Ridwan, and the ones before the conquest of Mecca are better than the ones after the conquest of Mecca. The Muhajirin are generally better than the Ansar. In regards to the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, Aisha is the best out of the later, and Khadija, of course, was the best, and most said she's the best altogether. Anyway, so that's kind of generally how we take it. Everything else isn't really as clear, but that's how we generally take it. And again, radiyallahu anhum jami'an. So the way of Ahl Sunnah is to accept the companions. And with regards to the battle that took place between the Sahaba after Uthman's death, radiyallahu anhu, then we do not go into these matters, right? Unless you're just teaching the general history of it, and we negate the fabricated narrations, of course, and the weak ones that make the Sahaba look bad. They did ijtihad, and we have the hadith that says, the oppressing group is going to kill Ammar, but so other than that, we don't go into it, right? We don't speak bad of Aisha, definitely not, or radiallahu anha, or Muawiyah, or anybody that was on their side or the other side. Alhamdulillah, Allah didn't test us with that, and it's still radiallahu anhum. They're still the best of us, and we don't go into those matters. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.